Right, we are departing Belgium, and we're gonna head to the Channel Islands. The Border Patrol agents just came by and stamped my passport. So I think the next destination is going to be the Channel Islands. I might stop along the way if I get too tired. I guess I'll be either in France or in the UK. But I wanted to check out just in case I didn't make any more stops in the Schengen zone. So I'm all checked out. I'm working on getting a longer visa this year. And I should hear about that in a few weeks. That should let me stay for a year instead of having to worry about this 90-day thing. But for the time being, I'm going to check out every chance I can get so I can save my days. Looks good. Let that warm up for a second. Good. Around. Okay, I think this passage is a couple hundred miles, or 200 or 300 miles. We got the wind, should be behind us pretty much the whole way. Maybe kind of a little bit on the aft quarter, kind of beam in the aft corner at the beginning, but then kind of moving further behind. I think a little bit strong, maybe gusting up into the 30s, in which case I'll probably just pull out the jib and ride that all the way through there. Hopefully I can stay clear of the shipping channel, separation zone scheme things, and get a little bit of rest at some point. But at some point I might need to pull into a harbor, anchor someplace, take a rest. But excited about the trip. Weather's starting off pretty warm. I don't really need this jacket, but I think it could cool off when I get out there. I rang up the port control on 7-1, gave them a heads up I was leaving. I'm gonna try out this little microphone. It worked pretty good in my last passage, and it could be windy, so I don't have it plugged into the phone right now. It's kind of annoying because the little thing has to plug into the bottom of the phone, and it just makes it kind of hard for me to hold. There's no way to win with the microphone, but this is the only microphone that seems to work in the wind. It's the DJI mic. I noticed a couple of cruise ships pulled in either today or last night, and they got a whole lot busier on the metro this morning. So it seems like a group from the UK. I guess not too far across the channel here. At this point, I realized I have no audio because my microphone, I guess it wasn't really working, even though the bar was green and everything. But whatever, don't need the audio to get the gist. I'm just putting up the sails and setting on the autopilot. I think I forgot to use the microphone later in the trip, so fortunately we do have audio later. So I'm sailing out of the port here, and it's pretty windy. Getting out the jib now. That's the yellow one. I unfurl that, untie that, and then the jib can unfurl. These microphones are so frustrating, man. I spent $300 on this thing. So bummed. Boats. That is the English Channel. Boats. Going right in between these 1, 2, 3, 4 boats. That's a high-speed boat right there. It's like a mega pilot boat. And a little big tender thing over here. 7 knots, and we are really flying. Although I expect, we're probably doing about 5.5 knots, and then maybe a knot and a half of current with us. Which means in a few hours, the current will turn against us and we'll go slow. But I think the wind's gonna keep picking up or holding this for the rest of the trip, so we should at least be moving through the water pretty quick. I think it's jumper time. The wind's starting to funnel. I bared off a little bit so the wind's funneling through the companionway. I'll get my warm stuff on. Adeline made me this sweater. It's like a sailor kind of pattern. Pretty cool. It's super warm. I can't wait to get down to Spain. Portugal, starting to warm up a little bit more. It'll be so nice. So I just bared off. Now we're on a pretty broad reach, almost all the way downwind. Only question is, do I drop the main all the way? I think I'm gonna do it. I think now's the time to do it. Unfortunately, the rolling's kind of bad now, and it's gonna get even worse once I drop the main, but I think the boat will steer better with the main down. The waves are starting to get a little steeper now. But I don't think the winds will pick up too much overnight. So hopefully maybe they'll kind of round out a little bit. Okay, let me get my hat on and maybe some boots. Whew. Yeah, throwing all over the place here. Oh, that was exciting. I don't think the rolling's gotten too much worse since I did that. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Woo! Okay, yeah, the rolling did get a little bit worse, but I think our speed is about the same. I think the boat's steering a little better, and I'm happy with that. Glad I did it while it was still a little bit light. Rocking and rolling here. It's staying pretty dry so far. Probably will close these doors, maybe the hatch, just tonight. I've been leaving them open. A little splashy splash coming over every now and then. So here, I'll give you all a little taste of the chart that we're looking at here. So here's where we've left from, and you can see all these boats and stuff. I think the odds of running into any individual one boat aren't that high, but you know, it really adds up with this many, and you just have to be aware of them all. So it's a little stressful. And then looking at the chart, it's kind of chaotic with all these traffic separation zones and shipping like lane scheme things. I'm going to try to stay on just on the outside of it. You can see that lower purple line is my kind of rough plan. Of course, with the sailboat, you end up kind of doing different things sometimes. But we'll be going, just working our way down the channel along that French coast there. Sometimes the current will be with us and sometimes against us. And then rounding this corner is where the current can get really, really strong around these Channel Islands. That's Guernsey right there. I'm thinking we'll aim for Guernsey. And then we have Jersey below it. And then work our way down to St. Malo and Mont Saint Michel. I really would like to visit that. Just kind of zoom out and look at the whole thing. So it's about maybe close to 300 nautical miles we're going. My navigation lights went out again. So stupid. I'm passing Dover now, and so there's a ton of ferries going back and forth, even at what time is it? Like 3 a.m. Maybe they're not ferries, but there's just tons of boats going back and forth, like straight across the channel. So keeping an eye out for those guys. Good morning. The waves have picked up a little bit. They're supposed to grow all day long though, so I think they're gonna get up to 7 or 8 feet. But I think we'll be okay. So a bolt came off of the, or a nut came off of the wind vane, and then it turned us to our side, and we got just pounded by these waves, which have gotten quite big. Of course, they don't really look that big on the camera. So I put the electric autopilot while I sort this out. I think I've got some spare nuts for the wind vane in here. And my kit of knickknacks. The autopilot sounds horrible. I think it's like just about to die. I paid like $600 for that thing in Inverness last year. So maybe I can get it replaced. I feel like I should make these things more reliable. Here's my bag of metric nuts. One of those ought to work. There we have it. Got the new wing bolt on there. Chaotic out here. These waves are all right on our beam. We gotta get this boat back on course. Well, that sure woke me up. I guess it's good. It's already getting close to noon. Oh, it is afternoon now. But I didn't get any sleep last night, so it was really good to get some sleep this morning. But it made me think, like when I'm going downwind with only the head sail and not the main, it works really good, but then if you have a problem, you can't heave to fix it. You just have to keep barreling downwind, especially if it's self-steering, because it's very hard to get the boat to steer the boat downwind while you're kind of working on something. If anybody's got a good solution for that, how do you heave to with only the head sail up? Maybe you can do it somehow. If you have the pole up, though, that would be pretty hard. I actually picked up some really good salmon and steak before this passage, but they were just rocking so far hard back and forth. I don't really feel up for cooking a real meal, so I just did one of these. This is actually a 4-year-old backpacking meal, the beef stroganoff I've had for so long. I figure out how to make it. Although I did look at it, and it doesn't expire until 2049, so not bad though. One advantage I never realized of the AIS thing is you can see which boats are sailboats, and it's really enhanced my competitiveness with other boats. So now I can see way further if I'm gaining on him, and that's like a 50-foot boat or something, and we're holding our own with him. We've been going back and forth since last night. He's a little faster than me, but not too much. He's doing 8.6 and 78 foot boat maybe, and we're doing 7.8, 7.9. So I don't know. We might catch back up with him. He was a little bit behind me. Now he's a little in front. Well, 10 miles in front. But usually you can only see him when they're close, but now you can see him when they're far. I love it. Now the racing can go on longer. Oh man, we're getting steep. Everything's so neatly organized up here too. Just chaos up front. Well, we've been sailing for 24 hours and we just passed 150 miles, which is a really good time for this boat. I wasn't expecting to do this good time. We've been doing 8 to 10 knots in the 7 to 10 knots when the current's with us, and then slowing down about 3, sometimes 4 knots when the current's against us. So pretty good. These are big enough that the entire container ship disappears. Too. All steer for a bit. So it's cool to check out the wind speed. Let's see, apparent true, 10 knots. Oh, that's at least 20 out there. That doesn't look right. And then direction's wrong too. It must be a bad position. I think I need to put the sensor up on the mast. I'll do that when I get to wherever I'm going. It always switches to meters per second. This app is super annoying. Then I go to this, knots. I'll get back to knots. Yeah, it's a lot windier than that. It's probably 20 gusting to 27, which makes you wonder why I even need the sensor if I know what the wind speed is just by the sound and the motion of the boat. So the current has switched against us, so that might be making the waves a little steeper. So we should probably have to deal with this for the next 3 or 4 hours, and then I think it's with us for the rest of the trip. Yeah, and there's this crux up ahead where current gets up to 5 knots. So we really don't want that to be with us, against us when we go through there. Luckily the wind should start dying off from now, so hopefully the waves won't get too much bigger than this. But anyway, it's good practice for the Bay of Biscay. Whoa! Ooh, that's impressive. Surfing is. Nice sunset we got going on over there. So I got a bit of a predicament because I'm coming up on the Channel Islands. I wanted to go into Guernsey. I want to go to Guernsey Island, but the tides are just switching to go against me. How fast am I going now? I'm going like 5 knots directly downwind, and so I can't really turn around. But I think I'll have to just go around them. I really wanted to go there. I had some packages shipped there. Maybe I could pass them and then come back later. I might try to kind of circle them and come back up, but then the wind is going to be so hard against me. Maybe onward to France. So we are just at that tip where it's all orange and red, and that's the current going against us, and it's just going to get so strong. So, well, let's see what happens. So I hit the tidal currents at just the wrong time. And my original plan was kind of circle around the islands and then work my way up, so maybe face less of a current. But I was drifting for too far north than I really wanted. So my new plan is just to sail directly into the currents. I'm going backwards or 1 knot sometimes, but I'll just do this for 4 or 5 hours, I think, and then hopefully once the currents switch, we'll just zoom right on through there. Nothing much else to do. I was a little worried that the waves would get super big, but I still could, I guess. It's only just started, so the waves could get real steep. In which case, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll put a little bit of mainsail up and just heave to, but then I'll drift way north. Gosh, maybe I should go back to plan A. I don't know. Weather's calm enough to make some steak today. potatoes. I think we'll get in around maybe 4 o'clock tonight. We're doing 9 knots right now, maybe even sooner then. Now the current's of course in our favor. I was so frustrated when I was going backwards, but I guess it all cancels out in the end. We end up with our probably 5 knot average. So stuff has calmed down. The waves are they're down to like 2 or 3 feet actually. Maybe 1 meter. Night and day compared to before. Oh, come out here, hang out, nice and sunny, way better mood. I was just staying down below before. The waves are just, that was killer. Those waves were so steep and uncomfortable. Just throwing the boat all over the place. Really noisy too. We're only 10 miles away. You cover a lot of miles when you're doing 8 to 9 knots. So, I need to edit my video. Edit that Belgium video, which is probably already been released now, if you're watching this, but I haven't even edited it, and in my time, crazy, time loop. Surrounding rocks. Just starting to make out the island up there. Making our approach now. This will be difficult to do without GPS. St. Peter Port, BTS, sailing yacht, pickled herring, channel 12.
The sailing vessel calling BTS, please repeat your name, sir.
Yeah, this is sailing yacht, pickled herring. I'm about a mile and a half out. I'd like to enter the harbor and find a visitor slip.
Pickled herring, BTS. Yeah, if you continue to the harbour entrance there, if the lights are green, you'll have clearance in. The marina staff will show you where to go. One question, sir, what is your maximum draft, please?
1.2 meter.
0.2 metres, that won't be a problem, sir. The marina staff are compatible on channel 80 once you're in the harbour.
Could you repeat that channel?
Not 80 once you're in the harbour, sir.
Alright, thank you. So here's the harbor. Looks like we've got the green lights. Where's the green light? Can you see it on the camera? Got the green. I'm just gonna get these sail rolled up. Maybe I'll leave a little bit of sail out, but get most of it put away.
Wind is now 23 to 27.
And just beat the massive trimaran ferry. That's the marina guy. He helped me get my spot. So we're right here. And we could go, I think, into the other marina if we want to. That's non-tidal, but this seems like a pretty good spot too. A little bit wavy. But I kind of like that, sleeping good as long as I'm not pushing into the dock, so maybe I will move it. And let's zoom out and look at our full track. I was quite pleased with our time. We did 273 miles in 48 hours. Wow. So I decided to move from the outside to the inside here. We got 6 meters, so it shouldn't be a problem. I think it'll be a little calmer in here. At least there's like a wall, so once the tide goes down, then this becomes its kind of own little bathtub. Cool. We'll get so I'm blowing off the wall, not into it. And here we are on the new spot, being blown off the dock. Much better. Could probably put a couple more fenders on this side though. It cost me $112 for 4 nights here. That was with their buy 3 get 1 free rate. So I think it was about 30 pounds a night. Which I don't know, it's a little on the higher side, but it's okay. Need a little break after that last trip sailing here. I also suspect prices are gonna keep going up as I get into the meds and stuff too, so just the way it is. I'm trying to build some boom gallows for my boat. Here with my friend Marcel. Guernsey local? Are you from here? Oh, right on. Okay, so we're measuring the profile of the mast to build some boom gallows.
But not very well.
A little lopsided. We can just kind of approximate it though.
It's just pushing the pin sideways.
Oh, because it's curved. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
The left side looks good.
Remember, Sam, measure thrice, cut twice.
I just cut it once and then I just keep taking off more bits until
Shave it.
until I get too small and I go, darn, well, we'll just have to live with that.
That'll do.
Yep, that'll work. It's not, it can't just be good, it has to be good enough.
Yeah. I've got an old friend whose DIY motto was, "That'll do for now." And he wants that written on his gravestone.
That's perfect.
It's not going to be strong enough with that cardboard like that.
Well, I was thinking there's some nautical sticks.
I've got a hot glue gun in the van.
We could use that because this is a good living hinge,
That's it.
We just hot glue this down. And then some popsicle sticks on the side, I think.
Bob on. Yeah.
I'll line it with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be it foam or leather or...
I think I will. I think I'll just leave it as...
Yeah.
No. Maybe in the future. For now, this will be good enough, though.
Good enough.
The tides are impressive here. It's just like probably a few minutes ago, I walked to use the bathroom and it was like completely flat, and now we're just dry.
Yeah, we get about 10 meter range.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're like it's 2 less feet of tide in here too with the little wall they got here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
See the master marking out the wood.
Yeah. You sailed this thing to France.
Apparently, yeah.
In that, really?
In that. Yeah, go on then.
So what does this mean?
This is our tally of the number of times in our 51-day trip where we explained where we were from and the boat we've come in. This is the number of times that people looked at us and looked at the boat and went, in that? So JP and I would then just clock each other's eye, and we just, each day, we'd just stick another, so we got like about 60 odd, something like that.
I think you've earned it. Okay, so what is the boat?
The boat is a Wayfarer. She was built, I think, about 55 years ago, and she's a Mark 1 GRP Wayfarer.
Okay.
There's a bunch of variants, but.
And you kind of picked this one because you'd heard it was good for cruising, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really highly regarded in dinghy cruising. do a search on YouTube for Frank Dye.
Yeah.
And there's some of his cruises on there. And
Okay.
if you do 4,000 miles in a Wayfarer, there's a 4,000 mile cruise across the Med in one of these things.
Wow.
They're really capable boats. So yeah, that's what we wanted. Overboom tent.
And so you were in Guernsey now, and that's where you started your trip. And how many days was the trip, you said?
Total 51.
51 days, you and your son.
Yeah. We left in kind of on the edge of a massive fog bank, so that was kind of scary as we headed south towards Jersey. Once we got about 7 or 8 miles out, the fog bank then started following us, so we lost track of the islands behind us. That was unnerving. But we could still see Jersey. Just keep plodding on, Genoa and engine.
Okay.
Take it easy, nothing fancy.
What was the furthest offshore that you had to take the boat?
Oh, probably about 12 miles or something like that.
miles.
So always in sight of land, just, apart from where the weather clamped in. But it was
Gotcha,
all right.
yeah.
And then we had a night in Jersey, and then we set off at a good stiff force 4 in some fairly hectic conditions with a chop and a swell on our rear quarter to the Minkies Reef south of Jersey. And that night it blew up really quite nastily, probably a force 6. And we were all over the place on a mooring. It was, there's no shelter when the tide comes in.
That would be rough in this thing, yeah.
I lost my tea, stayed up all night watching. JP slept the whole time.
Did he? Good for him.
But I'm propped in, watching the anchor alarm, keep eking out the
So how are you sleeping on this thing? You have like floorboards going?
Yeah, the floorboards are out at the moment,
here?
but they sit on top of these
Gotcha.
ribs, and just feet under.
And all the gear just kind of when you're sailing down here, and then just everywhere when you're sleeping
dry
on them?
bags, strap it all in dry bags. There's a front locker, but it's quite hard to get to, so only the sort of sleeping bag and sleeping mat went in there. The stuff we want to keep really dry.
Keep really dry, yeah.
But the less in and out of there, the better. And then stoves and stuff.
Yeah, you got a little compartment back there.
And toolkits.
And hand steering the whole trip, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, there's no self-steering gear.
No self-steering there.
None of your luxury.
Yeah, my stuff is definitely luxury compared to this. Very cool.
You got a cabin as well.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So pretty wet the whole trip, or like?
No, we did all right.
Not
actually.
too bad. Yeah.
Apart from that really nasty 24 hours in the Minkies, and then the following morning, just a beautiful force 2, force 3, all the way down to St Malo. Just bliss, sunny day like this. It was just amazing.
Yeah, sounds like a cool trip. So you have a name on for your YouTube channel?
Sailing Thingy.
Okay.
Based on the fact that you can never remember what all these sailing channels are called.
Yeah, it's perfect.
This is Cadeau de Mer as a boat, but it's Sailing Thingy.
Okay, we'll find it. Hopefully you get the video up there not too long and people can watch that trip. I think that'll be pretty cool to see.
Hopefully so.
And you've got one previous kind of video up there.
Yeah, just a snippet of us messing around with our mirror dinghy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That sounds like a cool trip. What's the next trip going to be? You got anything in mind?
I don't know. JP's doing exams at the moment, so it's going to be kind of short trips, but we'll be probably circumnavigating Guernsey, nip across to Herm, maybe go to Sark.
Very cool.
But we've got islands to play with, so
awesome.
we'll do that. And then dropping the mast off the tabernacle, you could then drop the mast here. Just sticking
out the back there.
Flag on the end, so we could get through all the bridges and stuff like that.
Nice.
Like this was a real master stroke.
Uh-huh.
Of utility.
Very clever, yeah.
But we didn't have to take the.
You can keep the motor on there.
The engine. Really, really.
What a trip.
Practical.
And another advantage of the size, you were saying that permits were not as much of a problem.
Yeah,
like
it's fantastic. Yeah, we
under
were
the
exempt for
limit.
the permit going up into the canals and stuff. 5 metre was the cutoff.
Perfect.
Just under 5 metres.
So we got our stainless steel hinges from the marine shop. I'll just put them on the Dodger. I think I'm gonna put an offset here because that way it's only shading one of my solar panels, and also have a little room for my head here.
Chewing gum, right?
But we need to open up a tube or something just to seal up like 4 little holes, and that's all I ever do at a time, you know. side benefit is I won't hit my head on these screws for being on the side.
Okay.
I think that'll stay. Well, maybe the wind will blow it up. We'll see. So then over your head here. Just lift up the shoulder. It's right in there. Oh, that's like, I don't think that's going anywhere. If the boat really heels, it might rock out. But actually, no, because I'm gonna tighten up the main
tie down.
sheet there. Oh, that's pretty solid. Okay. And then when it comes to go sail, down. Bob's your uncle. Cool.
Happy Sam.
I like it. Happy sailing. Fill in this little hole here. There. Good as new. You can't even tell. You can't even tell there was a hole there anymore, can you?
Power of chewing gum.
Like grade chewing gum. Special grade chewing gum. Butyl tape.
Marcel drove me around to check out the rest of the island and got some pretty good views, and there was some nice cliffs. I was thinking about paragliding off of them, but the wind wasn't quite right for it today. There's also a ton of old like trenches and German bunkers. They say that Hitler had more concrete poured in the Channel Islands than anywhere else in Europe because they were so valuable. And then this little dinghy pond is so cool because like for the kids who are learning how to sail, it seems like a great way to learn how to sail because the instructors can just walk around to the different boats. I thought that was super clever.
You want to be on the video?
I don't mind.
This is Nigel, by the way. He sailed this boat around the world
2 years ago.
a few years ago.
I hasten to add the name wasn't that.
He had a better name before. What was the name before?
Spinner Longer is the name of the boat
Ah,
that we did our trip with.
a little classier.
It's a Roberts 43 Mauritius.
Uh-huh.
That's 48 feet overall now.
Looks like a substantial boat. And you designed this wind
Yeah,
vane steering
I
system.
built this steering gear.
Very cool. So this is your Dodger. And this is a rain catcher.
In a tropical
tropical?
downpour, you get 50 gallons probably in an hour.
Wow. I mean, it's like a tub here. Very cool. And this handheld's really nice too. How did you make it? Is this wood?
It's, yeah, epoxy coat. 2 layers of 80-gram cloth on top of 6mm ply for that and 12mm here.
Cool.
Radius corners because I hate sharp edges.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Laminated.
Okay, yeah. And then your
And the self-steering.
self-steering. Oh, this one is nice looking. It reminded me of the Cape Horn a little bit, how it's going through the tube there.
It's Cape Horn-esque. The mechanism is Cape Horn, but it was known about before they used it, in fact.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, this one looks really nice.
yeah.
This is like a sort of a pendulum, kind of like mine, I guess. But you no gears, you're using that kind of.
The vane, it's just locked like that, so you
Uh-huh.
can just turn
So you just turn it with your hand.
handle
Yeah.
and then lock it.
Yeah, very hydrodynamic using the windsurfing fin there. And it comes with a cover, of course, too.
Yeah.
Cool.
As I say, you cut yourself on
Don't get like ran over by your boat.
It's carbon. Eh?
They'll cut you in half, yeah.
That's just.
And that's acrylic, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's that
that
signboard or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember. what it's called. Polycarbonate.
Polycarbonate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's cheap as chips. You can buy a whole sheet of it from B&Q for like
Ah, okay.
10 quid. And
I've
you can just.
got these plywood ones and they break every time I get into them.
What I do is I always use quite a small vane.
Yeah.
Because I keep them well balanced, and then when it's quiet, I tape on a polystyrene tile.
Okay.
And I tape it on, and then if the wind comes up during the night, it just snaps off. So it's
Oh.
self-regulating.
Brilliant. I like it.
And I've got a pin that locks in.
Oh, okay, so you lock that in there.
Yeah, so I've got a pin which is downstairs, which then locks through there,
Gotcha.
so that you can leave it rigged and still steer.
Gotcha. Yeah, nice.
Quite important.
Uh-huh. And then both the lines coming off the same side there. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's, you can still walk around
Cool.
both sides.
I met a new friend today. He gave me, he saw I had the Guernsey flag, but I guess this was the proper like the maritime Guernsey flag. So that's for the courtesy flag here. It's so hard to keep track of this stuff, but that was nice of him. He got me that. The camera on top of my mast had stopped working yesterday, so I climbed up and I swapped it out for the second one. I don't know, when I bought it, it came with 2 cameras. So at least I had a spare, so now I have that camera. I really like having this camera so I can see the boats in front of me while I'm sailing, and if I want to come down here for a little bit. It's also just nice in the marina for some reason. I just really like being able to see when people come by my boat. Now I'm going to remount my wind sensor on the top of the mast, and when I was up there earlier, I saw there wasn't really any room to put it, so I'm going to make a bracket. I think I'll just make like a little like a C kind of little extender kind of thing shape. Bend that up, and so then this thing can kind of stick up higher and not be in the way of the other stuff up there. Right now there's the camera, there's a VHF antenna, there's an anchor light, and a Windex. So it's getting kind of crowded up there, so we'll add this one more thing up there. I think it'll all fit together with a little bit of modification. So here we are atop the mast. This is the new camera. Took the old one off. So just behind the camera there's a little spot. I think I can fit like a bracket. That will bring my Windex up above the light and or my wind sensor above the Windex and the light, and keep it out of the way of the camera and everything. That's the plan. Let's head back down there and get the drill. So here's the bracket I've made up. So this is going to go on top of the mast, and I drew a little arrow. This is supposed to be the very front, but I can rotate it around. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't work on the mast, I think I'll just mount it up behind the solar panels there. Here's the setup. We got the new mast camera, the wind instrument, and it's clocked with the little lines. That's the front, and then it doesn't interfere with anything else. Got the anchor light and the VHF. Pretty good setup there. Connection. I'm happy it reached on the top of the mast. The battery is charged with the solar. Looks like 4.9 knots, and yeah, I'd say 4 gusting to 7. Right, we're kind of protected by the island. It's really actually the wind's quite strong today, but that looks much more accurate. So very happy with that. And I really like the app. They didn't skimp out. They've got the carbon fiber background. You know, a lot of apps are just using the like plain black aluminum background, but it adds weight, and I really appreciate them. You know, spend a little extra money to put the carbon fiber in there.
Marcel drove me more around the island, and we visited this little chapel, which is completely covered in mosaics of tiles and seashells and glass and things. It was very neat. Then we visited the World War II German hospital, because both the Channel Islands were occupied by the Germans during World War II, and so this was one of the hospitals, and it was very spooky to walk around inside of here. Won't make it out today, it looks like. Tide's too low.
Thanks for watching, and a massive thanks to everybody who has helped support the channel. In the next video, I'll be sailing to Jersey, and I will see you guys then.